G'day everyone and welcome to this week's TopBetta Spring Carnival preview show. We're here once again with Jamie Lovett from Australian Bloodstock. Jamie, thanks for coming along. 2 runners last week. We'll start with Big Duke. Improved run in the Metrop.
Yeah, we're thrilled with him. I mean, obviously coming off that question mark after his previous run at Caulfield, sort of we're just hoping that he'd run a race like that, and he's back on track now. So he'll go to the St Ledger, which is the 2,600 metre $500,000 race on Everest Day on the 14th. So all things being equal, if he races well there, then he's on track for a Melbourne Cup.
Beautiful. So he is back on track then. We did say last week that he probably needed to show you guys a little bit more.
Absolutely. I mean, look, to be fair, the Metrop wasn't I wouldn't say it was a blue chip Metrop, but certainly for where that horse had come off the back of a common run at Caulfield, we just wanted to see him back racing genuine. And obviously, look, he had excuse at Caulfield, as I've sort of, it's been well publicised. There's so many horses pulling up sore there, so he was scratchy after that race. But Darren said he really did well during the week, and I thought, look, he had his chance the other day, got a very good ride from Brenton, but I think he's crying out for further now. He's not jumping clean, he's probably just a horse that's probably looking for the 2 miles, so he's definitely on track.
Now with Big Duke, obviously his horse prefers a little bit of the cut out of the ground. If it was to be, say, a bit of rain forecast on Caulfield Cup Day, would you consider going down that path, or definitely Everest Day St Ledger? Yeah,
I would never say never, but it would need, just with the way it's going to, if he runs in the St Ledger, it'd be a 7-day backup into a Caulfield Cup. So it would be unlikely, but look, Darren was a trainer that does like to back his horses up, particularly starting horses on a 7-day backup. So yeah, look, if they got a downpour and Caulfield was a slow track, it's a possibility. And looking at where he fits in the order of entry, he'd make the race.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, it would be an option, of course.
All right, now the other runner you had last week was Articus. He was a slight drifter in betting, and then he, after opening favourite, didn't quite finish off the 1,800 metres perhaps at Morphettville.
Nah, look, he's just disappointed. He's not with us. He tracked into the race like the winner, and then when the pressure's on, he's half having a Lendivus, the horse. He's fit now. Darren, look, it's up to Darren. He's just got to work him out. He's obviously shown that he's got ability, but he's just a horse that he's not racing genuine. As I say, he's half having a Lendivus. So Darren will back to the drawing board with him.
All right, so there's no set plans for him at the moment?
Look, I mean, we took it back in grade, going to Adelaide, just expected that he would run and win. But as you say, look, he's got a few convictions now, so we've just got to try and get him back into winning form. Look, a lot of horses, confidence is a big thing, and he hasn't won since Flemington last prep. So we just try and find a race for him where we can get him back winning, and then we may set the bar a bit higher after that.
All right, then looking ahead to this Saturday, you've got 2 runners in, the first of which is Singing in a 4-horse field at Randwick over 2,000 metres. Interesting race to you guys against the Waller clan.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's a horse, he's had a lot of issues with his feet. He's got very soft feet, this horse, and Chris has done a really good job to get him back racing, and he's running the Wyong Cup with super. I mean, he hadn't raced for 12 months, and he got beat, I think, 2 lengths in the Wyong Cup. So we were going to run him here in the Newcastle Cup, but we just elected just to wait, because obviously he felt the run, having not raced for quite some time. So that race would be ideal on Saturday. I mean, obviously it's a 4-horse field, but it's just the fact that if the tracks are firm, we're just reluctant to run them. So if we've got any juice in the track on Saturday, he will run. Otherwise, we might wait. The Group 3 Craven Plate, albeit Happy Clapper's going there, he could still run in that a week later.
Well, 500,000 for a Group 3, it's a bit of an incentive.
It is, mate. And look, he's a horse that at his best, he'd be, I'm not saying he could beat Happy Clapper, but at his best, he's very competitive at 1.25 miles and anything.
All right, so now looking ahead, he does hold a Melbourne Cup nomination, I see, but that's just not going to happen with him.
Look, he doesn't stay the trip. We put him in. I mean, you just never know as horses get older, but look, he wouldn't make the race. He's so far down the weights. But look, we'd just love to get a win for the owners there. They've been very patient with him, and he's always been a very, very good horse, but he's just had his share of issues.
All right, and the other runner you've got this weekend, Mongolian Wolf in the last at Flemington. It's a 1,400 metre listed event. He's come up $17. Ben Allen to ride. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, probably should be 50 to 1. 7 furlong race. He'll just get back and run on, and that's just a platform for a race down later in the spring. Haven't really got a target for him. We just want to see him back to some sort of form that would, like his Group 3 Frank Packer win last year was 2,000 metres, which is probably more his go.
Okay, so how's he come back from the spell, being that he did have a Derby campaign? You mentioned back to 1,400, first time that trip in Australia, so we're just looking for him to run on.
Yeah, look, I don't know. he needs racing. He's a very gross. He's a gelding, but he's a very gross horse. And Darren said he needs plenty of work, so he's going to need quite a few runs just to get out to the 1.25 miles to see the best of him. So I suspect Saturday, if he was to run on and run, 4 or 5 off him, I'd be happy.
Okay. All right, now looking ahead to the Everest, it's only 9 days away now, and Brave Smash, we spoke about how he's going to have the blinkers on in the Everest. He has worked in blinkers at Ballarat this week.
And very, very pleasing reports out of the Weir stable. So, as we expected, because he had the shades on once before in his track work, he responds to them. So, it's turning into one hell of a race. I mean, all the horses that are heading are coming off pretty good runs. So, I would say that he's going to need to respond to the blinkers, but. Yeah, look, as I've said all along, we've got a good opinion of the horse, and I think it'll be run to suit because he's going to be in a race that's going to be high pressure, fast run, 6 furlong race at Randwick, and he'll be sucking up behind them. So, really excited just to get there on the 14th. It's going to be a $10 million race.
Yeah.
You don't race for that every day.
That's right, and he is $21 with TopBetta at the moment. Is that a fair price?
Yeah, look, I think he's a genuine. It's probably look. Bookmakers throwing their markets off their most recent form. So, my opinion on the horse and potential on the rest of it's not worth paper it's written on. So that's a fair assessment of where he fits into the market. There'd be some judges say he should be 100 to 1, but we believe that he's a genuine 20 to 1 chance.
Who would you think would be the main dangers in the field? Obviously a quality field, but is there one or two you're really looking at as the strongest contenders?
I like Vega Magic. Yeah, I think he's the horse that, and again, probably I may be biased, but we've got form lines through him, which I guess just gives me reason for a bit of confidence with our bloke. But I think he's unbeaten this prep. He's a proper horse. He's a Group 1 winner in the Goodwood. He's a horse that I think he's a genuine 1400 metre horse, which I think you need. I've got a little pot on these horses that are all sus at 6 furlong because it's going to be such a high pressure race. And that brings another local horse here, Chris Leeser's horse, I think clearly innocent. He couldn't have wanted for a better leader.
No,
he's run on Saturday, which got him the slot in the race. So there'd be the two that I'd be thinking, at the odds, I think they're both good value.
All right, perfect. Now let's have a look at some of the internationals. Obviously, you've got 4 horses out here preparing towards the cups and so forth. Admire Juice has been here for about a week now. How's he going?
Couldn't be happier. I just got off the phone then. Actually, the guys down there, he had Craig Williams, was out there at Werribee again this week. He's had another fast piece of work this morning, and everything's just going to plan. So he'll probably have another gallop on Saturday morning in the TopBetta Australian Bloodstock.
They're looking good, aren't they?
Merchandise, I should say. So Craig will be donning that, and certainly, look, at this stage, I don't know what price is. He's still 15, 20 to 1. I think he's, for you guys taking those early markets, I think he's exceptional value because I think if he turns up on the day, he's a genuine top 3 chance.
Yeah, we're only about 2 weeks away from the Caulfield Cup now, so $15. You think that's pretty reasonable?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. I think I think that's overs myself. I mean, obviously a little bit biased because we bought the horse thinking he could win the race. So, but look, everything's got a plan. And obviously, when you're travelling horses, you're always a little bit guarded because they've got to acclimatise. But he hasn't missed a beat, and he's on track.
Excellent. Now we've also got Red Cardinal. He's arrived this week. How'd he travel?
Exceptional. Andreas Voller's needs no introduction with travelling horses around the world, and both Garcia and Red Cardinal have travelled exceptionally well. And Hugh Bowman had a sit this morning at Werribee, so I'm just waiting. He's got a few options, Hugh. He's in the mix with us too. We're still, obviously these guys like to hedge their bets, but we're hoping Ryan Moore's still a chance to come and ride the horse first. So we're also in the same boat. Everyone's playing ducks and drakes, and ultimately we'd like to decide on a rider this week.
Okay, so Hugh Bowman is your front runner at this stage?
Local jockey. Ryan Moore obviously won the Melbourne Cup on predictions for us and has rode a lot of good winners around the world for Andreas Voller, so there's a good rapport there. There's a little catch because obviously he's committed to Aidan O'Brien in the Coolmore stable, so if Aidan runs any horse in the Melbourne Cup, Ryan will ride them, but at this stage they're only 50-50 whether they'll have a runner in the Cup.
Okay, now $17 for the Melbourne Cup with TopBetta at the moment for Red Cardinal. That's a price that we didn't quite see that high not too long ago before his last start, but since then, where do you think that is now?
If you can ignore his last run, which I'm happy to do, knowing that he broke out in a, they call it, they're hives if you in human terms, and he was very uncomfortable under saddle. We had to get him past, the vet had to pass him to actually run. So although he was there to win, he was only given a soft time at the last couple of furlongs. He was wasn't going to win the race, and the jockey looked after him. And I do think he's a horse that if you look at his prior 2 runs at 2 Mile, he's a horse. He's a genuine 2 miler, probably a fair price, but I don't think you'll get any better.
Okay, all right, and so Herbert Power and then straight into the Melbourne Cup for him.
Yeah, again, we'd just like to see Caulfield with a bit of sting in it, because these European horses, I'd hate to run him at Caulfield on a firm track and then be patching him up for a Melbourne Cup. So ideally that's our platform to go Herbert Power, but I think if it was dead hard, we might even bypass and go straight into the Cup, just depending on the track conditions.
Beautiful. All right, Garcia, how's he looking?
Yeah, wrap with him. Obviously, he's here. He's working, doing all his fast work with Red Cardinal in Newmarket. He hasn't had any fast work in Australia as yet, but that'll happen this weekend. But he's really acclimatised well, and he'll go into a listed 1800 metre race as we discussed last week. And I think there'll be no markets for that, but when they do come up, I don't care what's in the race. I think he'll be a live chance.
Beautiful. And just finally, 60s Groove. He's had a little bit of a setback.
He did in Europe. He's fine now. He's in. Darren Weir's taken over training, and they're only saying to me this morning he's now working with the Japanese horse. They're pairing up in their work, and they both did 2 laps of the track this morning. He's very good in the wind, and he's coming along nicely. He's probably more realistic because he's missed that little bit of work. He's more than likely run back into the Carnival, maybe Sandown or one of those races.
All right, and just finally, we do like to have a little look out wide at some of your other horses through the week, and we've got a couple in today, Gosford, for the True Believers, Corden in the first.
Yeah, look, he's their first run for us. We purchased him off Godolphin in a tried horse sale and put some new owners into the horse. We like to. These sort of horses, they're maiden horses, they're a good introduction, they're not a lot of money, and they give guys a chance to get into ownership without having to mortgage the farm. So he's the sort of horse that, being a maiden, he could win 2 or 3, probably not going to reach any great heights, but he looks well placed today, and he'll go close to winning.
All right, and Decepticon in the last.
Got a good opinion of her. We bought her off a trial, which is always thought with danger, but we did like her a fair bit. So she went to Canterbury, started short favourite that day, and went to pieces in the mounting yard, ran through the bridle, and was common. She's got a few convictions at the gate. She's a bit of a thinker. So Chris Lee's done a good job. She went to Scone after the Canterbury run and bolted in, and then we've just taken our time to get her head right. And I think she's in a good place, and she's drawn 1. Corey Brown to ride. Very good race, but for a provincial Class 2 race, she'll have to be good to win. But I think at the price, she's a good each way chance at $5.
Perfect. All right. Well, that might do us for this week, Jamie. But thanks for joining us once again. Obviously, a couple of horses this weekend, but we're really looking forward to catching up before the Everest next week.
Absolutely. Good on you.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Cheers.